This is the European edition of Breaking Banks, the world's #1 fintech podcast and radio show. We bring you the European unicorns, startups, founders, regulators, and leaders innovating the rapidly evolving fintech scene today. A truly localized podcast with both English and local language content, with some of the world's most well-known hosts and influencers in the fintech sector globally. Join us every week as we explore what makes the European Union a phenomenal proving ground for many of the fastest growing fintech plays in the world today. Okay, let's roll.
Hey guys, welcome back to Breaking Banks Europe. My name is Matteo Rizzi. I am the executive producer of the show, and today is an episode that I cherish a lot for two reasons. Why? One, because we are talking about a super hot topic, and second, because I'm doing it with a great friend of mine that I know for many years, and he is for me, is the go-to person when I need to know anything about crypto and blockchain. Ladies and gentlemen, Roberto Capodieci, welcome to the show.
Hello, Matteo. Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to have a chat with you, both on a show and offline. It's always a pleasure.
Great. We won't unveil right now what was our preparatory call for this show, because we talked about many different things. But to start with, Robbie, why don't you? So you're in Bali right now. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? From early Bitcoin investor into full blockchain, setting up your own blockchain infrastructure, because this is about crypto crisis. Okay, that's the subject of this episode. But it goes deeper than the market losing $2 trillion out of the 3 trillion value that it had. It seems like fundamentals, on everything concerning crypto and blockchain, because it's not only Bitcoin and Ethereum that are down, but every other crypto or altcoin that was actually representing a business behind, seem to have crashed. But before, first thing first, please, an intro for yourself, Robbie.
Sure. I am Italian, because nobody's perfect. And I live in Bali already 18 years, Bali, Indonesia, before I spent time in the United States. I always been into IT on the technical side, managerial technical side. And I'm a promoter of decentralization. Decentralization is an aspect of the information technology that we are starting in the information era. We were digitizing, we were communicating online, purchasing service online, and now we are decentralizing. And so this is the industry where I work, I consult, and I provide services on. Obviously, part of this world includes blockchain, and in a big chunk, and the blockchain brings to cryptocurrency, which is one of the use cases for decentralized platform. Surely enough, we know that there are many other use cases, non-financial, non-related to finance, like documentation flow, real estate management, titles, and other things. The NFT and the art, the digital art purchase and sales on blockchain has been the first demonstration to the large public of a use case that is not direct remittance of coins. But yet, money talks, money counts, and wherever there is money involved, there is a lot of attention, correctly, and that's why cryptocurrencies are the prima donna of this world, and they're causing a lot of troubles, and unfortunately, sometimes they damage the reputation of the whole ecosystem, which is a pity, because there is a lot of very amazing things that can be done, and they're gonna come in the next few years thanks to these technologies.
First, a couple of anecdotes, which I know, but I would love you to share it with the public, or whatever part of the story you want to share, your own relationship with cryptocurrencies. I know for sure that you can tell a lot of stories, including losing something that we only reading the newspaper say, no, that cannot happen. And I'm pretty sure that people will be amazed to hear from first hand that actually you can lose crypto because you lose a device, right?
In fact, this is actually a story to learn a lot from, because, as I was saying, I was into decentralization even before Bitcoin came out, when there was a BitTorrent as a protocol to distribute file online. And it was the interesting thing that cannot be taken down. So regulatory system had to change the paradigm from regulating the service, where before can be found like a central server, somebody responsible for it, to regulating the user, saying, is it legal for you to use this service for this means, and not being able to stop. So I was into these things, and this thing brought me in the early days of Bitcoin. I've been sent.
Which year we are talking about?
Our 2009-10 were really the beginning. I think 2010. I've been sent a code that is a precedent to the code that is being published in the GitHub to run a node of Bitcoin. And with a simple dial-up and a notebook, in 3 days, I made the 6 blocks. 6 blocks means 300 Bitcoin. At the time, each block was giving 50 Bitcoin. And, overall, I look at this thing, didn't make any sense. It wasn't doing what I needed to do. I bought myself a better notebook, so I formatted everything. And this 300 Bitcoin got lost forever into the blockchain, and they're there. Sometimes I cry if I think about it. I will be able to enjoy them today. But at the time, it made absolute sense to format everything because they had no value. I mean, there was not even the possibility to exchanges for anything. So many things that we underevaluate today, probably tomorrow going to have a big value. So that's something to pay attention.
So you got like a second wave, right, into approaching Bitcoin later.
Yeah, I never purchased the Bitcoin on my own because I'm never been into the finance, the trading. I say I have a big power because as soon as I buy, the price goes down. As soon as I sell, the price goes up. I can control.
Indeed, I usually call you when I call you. Said, what will you do? And then I do the opposite because you advise me.
But I had several clients that paid me with cryptos in the past, and I never needed to exchange. I left them there, and it levitated with time. And so I am one of the longest time hodler in crypto because I thank God with my work and things goes well, and I never had the need to exchange it. There was a moment where I had to take some in order to pay some expenses, large expenses. I did a $3 million investment to create a new technology. There is a new blockchain platform. But beside those moments, everything always went well enough. So I never fell for all these things which we're going to discuss today, where a lot of people lost a huge amount of money and got hurt very, very bad in trusting algorithms or in trusting companies that seems to be serious, then end up not to be so.
So the reason why or the angle or one of the angles I would like to discuss this crash is the fact that I am part of these categories of a little bit technically aware and maybe business aware, but not technically deep enough to understand all the applications. And I'm also more passionate about the fact that in order to make finance fairer, it needs to be better distributed, faster, cheaper, and indeed the blockchain seems to be a technology that could deliver that. But most of the investors, they just sort of plugged into the hype to a point that you could even think that market was a little bit manipulated, when it was this bull race. And it seems that the 2, 3, 4, 5% of people owning the majority of these cryptocurrencies were actually manipulating so that more people could join. And at the end of the day, they were also the first to get out, which is one of the reasons to explain the crisis. Could it be?
And again, I see things from an angle that is on the other side, right? Yet there are a little bit of speculation about some hedge funds that actually went to do and create crisis and cashed out right before, so they should have known or they've been part of it. The fact that the blockchain in a certain way gives pseudo-anonymity, meaning that there are no registered accounts, allow a lot of people to create a situation without being immediately identified. But there is also to consider that the market is small. While it's big in terms, but financially is also small compared to the money that move through the traditional finance, right? And those players that are there are not many, and they are interconnected. So it's easy that when one goes down, pull down the other with them, and so you see it is a sort of domino effects that maybe start by some crypto project and drags down those centralized institutions that were playing with the crypto themselves. I mean, I did a little bit of research, which actually I published a Medium post right before jumping in the call with you, based on the research that I made to get ready for the call. But just to make sure that what I knew was actually valid and I wasn't just repeating gossip or rumors. And in fact, there is a very interesting aspect of how things shapes in the crypto world and how this affects things in the actual real world when there are companies that start offering services to bridge between crypto and fiat. So whenever, if you want, I can go through a little bit.
But I think that you're making a transition to, without knowing it, to what I really wanted to talk about as well, which is there are almost two worlds here, and they all crashed. So there is the world of pure crypto, okay, the classic, from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Litecoin, and then there is this whole DeFi related world, from Aave to Uniswap to Cardano to plenty of applications that seemed to have born with a real purpose, unlike Bitcoin that almost started with the crypto and then sort of kept struggling, finding the killing app that was for everyone a no-brainer, kind of. But in the DeFi world, it was, the you could borrow money over decentralized applications. You could there were many payments applications, using DeFi infrastructures. And why is everything? It seems like everything is connected, as you said, right? And why is it crashed at the same time and so heavily? Is it because behind there is the same people or the same funds investing in it?
I think there is a lot of illiteracy on the technical aspect from people that can move a lot of money, trusting just the word of somebody rather than. It's a strange thing. There are aspects that are very impressive. Every time I struggle to do simple things with my bank, I keep telling them on the phone, when I am on the phone with them, you're promoting cryptocurrency. Every time you make it difficult for me, you are promoting cryptocurrency with all your clients, because unfortunately, financial institutions are, let's say, blocked by regulators, so they need to follow regulation in a way that become ridiculous. And I can tell you some very funny experience I had, if you want. While all the decentralized DeFi world doesn't have this weight on their shoulder for now, but it becomes like BitTorrent. The regulator need to regulate the users, not the system, because the system is decentralized. There is nobody to go to. So you will need to tell people it's illegal for you to use the system, but you cannot tell the system you cannot operate. As simple as it is. So it's a big shift on the regulator side, and it's something that is not yet happened. Not fully, right? They still try to go, because there's something that we were talking about Bitcoin compared to Ethereum, for example, before. The big value of Bitcoin, which has one simple function and is keep doing it as a function, is the fact that there is no person behind. There is Satoshi Nakamoto, nobody knows who it is. And actually good that there is this fantastic figure created, because so people doesn't focus on don't lead the developers, because they will be the person to go to, in fact. While Ethereum has Vitalik as, charming figure in front of it. So there is still somebody to go to, right? So the pure decentralized system need nobody behind, but the pride of a lot of people that create system is always to put their face and their name attached to what they do, making it pseudo-centralized in a certain way. But sure is enough that in DeFi, as you were saying, people can make a loan in 3 minutes without signing any form, without having to say their identity, leaving as collateral some other crypto they have, and buying and purchasing, maybe not the Lamborghini that everybody wants, but maybe the family car. And as soon as the user interface for this thing is good enough that my mom can use it, then it starts becoming a big problem for the financial institution, for the regulator as well, because there is no stop to accessing a set of service that we don't know if they are scam or they are honest, or when they're going to blow up, or they are badly programmed, etc., etc. I was looking at the cases of lately, a lot of centralized, they can be like crypto lenders, exchanges, hedge funds that are going bankrupt, are going legs up like this. And you wonder what the mistake, what is the problem that they met that caused, or the scam that they did, so I started reading the various stories one by one, and then looking at the different reasons why they went legs up. For example, the most honest of all was actually receiving. People wanted to keep their crypto with them rather than in a wallet normally. They were lending it out. They were offering a good interest rate, charging a higher interest rate to the people they lended to, people that were supposed to be trusted, but they end up lending more than 50% to a single hedge funds that went bankrupt, and they became insolvent, and they drag everybody with them. But I think between all, they were the most honest in terms of trying to do the business it was, because others go borderline with Ponzi schemes in terms of, just using the new investor money to pay the previous investors and going in the directions. Then there is another side. There is DeFi. So these are centralized companies. They should make money. Doesn't matter the value of the crypto, because they broker. So they are in the middle and they earn a percentage of an interest. But in DeFi project, there are other aspects that are interesting. And first of all, there is to say that real Ponzi schemes can be coded into a smart contract, given a different address, called in a different way, but end up being what they are. And it's strange that there are so many with clear people behind that are there, mostly in stablecoin. Stablecoin, for those that don't know what it is, are the representation of a fiat currency, say US dollar or euro, into a crypto token. So one crypto token equal $1 US. And the value for this stable cryptocurrency is usually should be the deposit. So somebody decentralized receive $1 million, issue 1 million crypto token, and you can audit the deposit that they have, and this should be.
So if that was done properly, there is no reason why this type of stable coin would lose value, right? In theory.
Right, the central bank digital currency, it should work like this, right? Is the central bank's guaranteeing that the crypto in circulation is actually real, let's say, rather than paper. But the auditing is not done by, it's not that I can show up and ask them to do USDT to show me their bank account, or, we need to trust the people that, but let's say it's done. Then there is another set that are called algorithmic. And so they work just in the crypto world, balancing. So they have a stable coin, and then they have another token that absorb the volatility. So in order to keep the stable locked to a value, they start minting or burning the other one in order to keep the value always there. Obviously, they needed to have collateral, so deposit made in order to cover deposit made in other cryptocurrency, which can also change value. The biggest problem that happened, that the brought down a lot is one of these algorithmic stable coin, which was called UST, which is the Terra Luna, the terraforming company.
Yeah.
Practically, the problem of the algorithm that was written is that the algorithm didn't check the value of the stable coin. He automatically assumed it was always $1. It didn't take in consideration the fact that people can dump it to run away from it. And in this way, was keep issuing the token that was supposed to absorb the volatile, printing and minting so many that brought the value to zero. But these people burned $60 billion in a week of investor money.
Yeah.
If you think in
By the way, there are a few, like one of the things that is scary is that the owner of Terra Luna, there is this. It's not really a meme, but it's actually a true story. They said, other like investors or entrepreneurs who burn that type of money, they are in jail. And what the guys did is building Luna too, and then.
In fact, if you read my Medium post, is actually mentioning exactly this thing, because the incredible thing is that this thing goes unpunished completely. Like there are some other hedge funds trying to change their version, saying yes, the money lost, it wasn't the client money. The ones that they give it to us become ours, and we lost our own money. They just they try to turn around things because there is not yet a clear definition in the regulatory framework for what is a cryptocurrency, a crypto asset, a token, non-fungible token is very not very precise. And
we will go, Robbie, into the NFTs in a second. But before, let's let's take a little crystal ball and talk about whether or not how DeFi will reborn again, from its ashes. Actually, we are in a another bull race, because since a couple of weeks, we can have there was a little correction, so people, I don't know if it's that systematic, because technically speaking, the people who still have some cash, they bought it super low, so it's this semi growth again is artificial or not. But that's not the point, because it's like literally playing lottery. I am more interested in this fundamental question on what are the new fundamentals of DeFi after the crisis, in your opinion? And I know this is a topic that is particularly close to your heart, because you're a firm believer actually in decentralized everything.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that when opportunity creates, a lot of people take advantage of the space and create inflate. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind to even create a trouble if I go back home with a few $1 billion, to spend for the rest of my life. The truth is that those speculative scam or no scam or troubles that happen are just taking advantage of the winds of the hype that comes with it. The technology, if you look on the technology side, is still in its infancy. It's still experimental, and is not meant to be taken deeply serious for production, okay? And yet all these things are happening. So I would think that sometimes it's also good that there is, it's like, after a period of dry season, it comes this big rain that wash out all the trash and leaves a very clean space for people to start living again well. So I think we've been through a big flooding of dramas that cleans up and bring a little bit more attention to what is valid. People, they say crypto are gonna die as a things altogether. I think they're wrong, because there is no way out. We're into this road, and this road is gonna keep going for sure. People pay much more attention to where they put their money now, I hope. I mean, I have close friends that lost a small fortune. I mean, things that would have changed their life in the future just because they blindly trusted this Terra Luna. They put all the money there. Think this. Terra Luna promised 20% return of investment per year, okay? So when something doesn't create an income because you offer a service, say Terra Luna was attached to something that you purchase because it's like an insurance or something like this, there has a revenue, then maybe you can pay out. Either you make the interest calculated by the market. So say if there is such, I can pay such. It's just variation based on what there is between and out. Everybody deposit, nobody loan. Sorry, the interest is zero. You know, l'auto request a loan, little deposit, the interest is very high. And you can set it up like this. But if you try to promise a fixed return, you need to, this money, they're not going to be generated from nothing, you know, or you can try to generate them for a while, but at a certain point, so that's a Ponzi scheme for real. And after Luna, actually, a few days before Luna crashed, the guy that created Tron blockchain came out with a USDD and offering 40% per year of return. So, really? You know, like, and the crazy thing is that people believe this thing and they say, oh my God, I mean, like, why should I give my money in the bank where they give me nothing? They take out the money, they exchange in crypto, and stable coin, they put it inside these protocols. And obviously, it's a Ponzi scheme because where you find the 40% to give back to people, where you find it? You cannot print another token and sell it. How long it can go ahead for? So people should do this small reasoning before, you know, putting all their life savings into something. Because funny enough, also, the stable coin are a safe haven for people that want to run away from the volatility of the other cryptos, right?
It is such a paradox, right? It is
right,
such
and then they end up in the place where they are losing everything. So there is a little bit of illiteracy on the technologies behind on how things work, on the risks that there are, because people think bank. I go to the bank, I leave the money with me. Sometime a bank goes legs up, I lose something, but the government protects me. In the crypto world, it's not like this. Is much different.
Yeah, which makes me think that you know, it's inevitable that until the regulators you know, do not step in and put some you know, boundaries in the way you build this type of infrastructure, it seems that it's going to be volatile forever, right?
No. The regulator need to change completely the approach that they have. And this is important, actually. If some regulator is listening, I'm happy to give a full 1 hour discussion on this. You cannot regulate how these things are built because it can be built anonymously and promoted. But you can say, give like a sort of stamp of approval or something. So if there is, let's say, a stable coin, regulator takes the initiative to take some people that understand code, understand finance, they analyze the full thing, they see if there is no way for somebody to manipulate or control, etc., and they can tell people, hey, are you crazy enough to go in crypto with your money? Well, but use this, we guarantee there is nobody can, you know, steal your money or is not manipulated, etc., etc. At least in this way, you know, they can give a sort of protection to the consumer. They can always say it's always risky, you can lose your money, but at least we double check the code of these smart contracts, or we check the technology behind this particular blockchain with this particular token, and we understand that this is safe in these terms, the risk are this and this. Then they can do this because it's a decentralized. If it's a decentralized, they cannot regulate how people build it, because there is nobody to go to.
But do you think a technical check is enough to prevent scams?
Well, it's already a beginning, because I mean, I don't want to bore people with technicality, but a lot of these things, if you just look at the technical aspect of it, is really evident, clear. There are some decentralized DAO where all the governance should be made with votes of the people that is having the things. Another one by Justin Sun, the same guy of Tron, the same guy of the USDD. There is a platform, there is a DAO called Just Lend. And the proposals are approved automatically if they have 6 million votes or more. And he has a wallet that has 6,000,001 votes. So when there are proposals, you see 137 people vote against and 6,000,001 or 6,000,002 vote pro, you know. And this is not decentralized. It's practically choosing by himself what he wants to do with the thing. So small verification of this sort that a person like me or anybody else can do, a regulator can say, hey, pay attention because this is not, or even can go to the person and say, hey, you cannot promote it as a decentralized until you don't get rid of the votes, or but it's hard to regulate the decentralized system. It's impossible. So it's a matter of reputation and approval. My mom, they take the loan from the DeFi contract, smart contract, has no means to verify the solidity code. And only my mom, even my sister, has no knowledge of how to read the solidity smart contract. Honestly, not even a normal user, they even know solidity, can go start reading all the contract before using something, right? So people go by trust.
On the same sort of I want to say on the same underlying issue, but a different type of crisis, in my opinion, are the NFTs. The NFT market crashed probably more, but I think that was a different type of hype. It was literally a fashion for a while. I think ICO, everyone is saying that NFTs are, the ICO disguise, that worked for a little while. Everyone raced through this. A lot of people lost money, and that's also something that is about illiteracy, is about fashion, is about if a Snapdog is buying an NFT, I want to buy too. And if Justin Bieber is buying a Bored Ape, then I want to have it one too. Something like this. And it's a lot of flipping whilst the hype is high, but the loss has been awful.
Well, I tell you something. First of all, as art always did, that is a service to the finance planet, NFT even more does to the crypto finance, which is money laundering. So say I have $1 million of unclaimable and stolen, I don't know, Bitcoin or something. I just take my iPad, I make a small drawing, I make an NFT that is for sale at $1 million. Okay. I buy it from myself, okay, with a stolen $1 million. And only I got the clean washed $1 million in crypto in my hand. But I also have an NFT that is worth $1 million, which if I sell for $500,000, somebody's going to make the amazing deal of their life. Yeah. So I increase my money and I clean and wash my dirty crypto. So this is unfortunately behind a lot of the very high level purchases of NFTs. Okay, there are pathways that people use through the centralized like land for metaverse rather than fake yacht, virtual other things that are being used. They make a lot of news because people wonder why in the world somebody will spend $500,000 for a few pixels. That's the explanation. And then there is for sure people that are become super wealthy with crypto, say they didn't sweat for the money that they have, and they keep spending them, and they think it's funny to purchase a monkey for $300,000. Then good to them. I don't think anybody ever made it as an investment because they think they're going to resell it for more later, because that would be really silly to think, in my opinion. Maybe in the short term, yes, but in the long term, no. As you say,
is there now like a technical question for you to answer in Christian understandable words? Is there an NFT like a technical app, like in notarization of transaction or in notarization of lands, that it is just something that you could do with blockchain before, and now people say that they do it with NFTs, but it's actually the same tech?
Absolutely. In 2014, and then NXT, next platform, we were using, blockchain object that are what you call now NFT. In 2019, I sold nodes of the new blockchain inside an NFT, because people can declare some information and save them. So the NFT is just a piece of text in the blockchain with some rules attached to it, no more, no less. So obviously you can use it as a warranty card of a product that you have sold. I did a lot of consultancy for clients using NFT for industrial reason and for many other things that are not just the speculative JPEG. There are also a lot of products that now you buy and they give you the NFT as a digital twin of the product, which can be used eventually in the metaverse. Say I buy a nice pair of sunglasses, and together with that, if I give my crypto address, they give me the sunglasses to be used for my avatar in the metaverse. And that can be done with NFT. Which I can also resell later to somebody else, because the beautiful thing the blockchain brought in our life is the singularity in the digital world, right? So before I can make a copy of MP3 and nobody knows which is the original because they're copies. Now I cannot make a copy of my Bitcoin and give it to you because that will make the value of Bitcoin goes to zero. So this is the biggest technological advancement that we have with the blockchain. They allow the NFT to exist, they allow the cryptocurrency to exist, titles and many other things, right?
But Robbie, how do you explain the fact that everyone is is talking about the metaverse and the investment that big banks are making on it, and and some would say that or would argue that cryptocurrencies are the preferred means of exchange in a metaverse, because by definition they're digital currencies and stuff like that. And at the same time, there is this. It is almost like the wave of crypto hype goes down, and then is rebranding to the metaverse to give it. It's like NFTs. Rebranded the blockchain kind of, and then it gave the new hype. It looks like metaverse is rebranded now crypto.
Okay, well, you're saying something correct in a certain way, but if you look more on a bird eyes view, those are all small elements that are part of how the future of information era is going to look like, right? You need all these elements to make something. For example, the word metaverse that everybody uses, the metaverse does not exist today, okay, yet. There are a lot of virtual worlds, but they're not interconnected. So, what HTML made to the web? So you click on a link, you go to another server that has more detail related. The metaverse should be for virtual worlds. From a virtual world, you enter a door, you go in another server. The difference is that in the web, you are passively looking at a website. In the metaverse, your persona is in, so you need to have the continuity of your persona. So if you're blonde inside the virtual world, sorry for the example, if you're blonde, you're going to be blonde inside the other virtual world, okay? Meaning that this can be achieved only with a platform underneath where each virtual world goes get your data, your information, so the set of NFT that makes you as a persona, if you want to say with simple terms, and a way to identify that that's you, which is a cryptographic digital signature that you can generate. So if I have $10 and I spend 3 in a metaverse, I still have only 7 where other metaverse I go. Today, I log in with a different username and password in different server, and probably I can import my avatar from Ready Player Me, that gives an, but that's different from having a metaverse. Facebook attempting trying to take over this new development of the world, rather than many places like the Central and the sell a piece of land to a fortune of money. There is like when with website people were selling $1 million, $1 million lira for web page for website, which means nothing because a web page can have just a piece of text or can be super complex technological, calculations. So there is literacy there too, and there is a lot of road to make to get to the metaverse. But that's something I'm highly interested in, and surely blockchain or the centralized platform are a key for it, and cryptocurrency as a means of payment as well. Yes,
Robbie, I think that we can safely wrap up. I really enjoy the fact that you from your both a super technical point of view, but as well the capacity to explain it in simple world, and maybe the fact that we are both Italian. Sometimes it seems that the language that comes out from our mouth is English, but it's almost like if we were talking Italian, the two of us, which is great. And I hope this will convey also to our auditors that certainly enjoyed this conversation. Roberto.
If the audience is feeling the desire to go eat some pizza or pasta, then it works.
Exactly. And, you guys can go on, is that capodieci.com, Robbie, your website?
Yes. And if they're interested in the topic of today, if they go to capodieci.medium.com, there is an article exactly that goes a little bit more deeply on the topics we discussed today.
Perfect. So nobody can accuse us that we didn't go deep enough in our conversation. That was simply a cool radio chill chat that goes into your super deep content on Medium. That's perfect. There is a perfect excuse to all the accusers that we say that was just a skin deep chat between two Italians. Thank you. I enjoyed it a lot.
All right. Thank you for having me. Until next time.
And guys, that was Breaking Bank Europe's Everything on Crypto, the Crash, and a glimpse on the future. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Banks Europe, a Provoke Media podcast in cooperation with FinTech Stage. Don't forget to tweet us out, shout out, or post to the team at Breaking Banks EU on Twitter. If there's something or someone you'd like to hear on our cast, let us know. See you next week on Breaking Banks Europe.